Jason.
Yeah, I'm a former school board candidate from last election, and you ran the first 40 days interview you gave at Lynnwood Times. You said you're always going to prioritize violent crime, crimes against children, and sex crimes. And we have an article here in the Seattle Times, teacher accused of inappropriate touching kept in class for 20 months. There is also a Lynnwood Times article, Everett Herald article, and the prosecutor's office declined to charge Sibley. And in November 2025, the office allowed the district to start their own investigation. And he's been on payroll, not at work, since 2024 for 2 years now. So how is that possible that the prosecutor's office allowed the district to do their own investigation? And could you explain to us why the office felt there was not enough evidence to prosecute this teacher? And I was working with the teachers that are in this article, and they're afraid that in September he's going to go back to teaching.
First of all, we reviewed a case. We have a burden to review these cases as they come forward. Is there sufficient evidence to prove that the crime has been committed? In our review of that case, there was not sufficient evidence that we could prove beyond a reasonable doubt that a crime had been committed. The school district was free to do whatever investigation they wanted. They wanted to not do anything until our review and determination was made. So that's the school district making a determination they're going to put that person on paid administrative leave, leaving them in that position. Then they'll conduct their own. That's employment law between the school district and that teacher. The sad part that we have on some of these cases like that, and we've seen it in other jurisdictions as well, there is a fine line between being creepy and being a criminal in some of those instances. There are some teachers that reach a certain point where you're like, everybody else had red flags. Why didn't the administration do more to intervene and fire that teacher, saying, no, you shouldn't be engaging in that sort of, you shouldn't go into a room with a door closed without another person, without windows, blinds being open so we can see what's going on there. But it's not a crime unless we can prove that something happened when they were in that room and something was going on in there. And that is the hardest part that we face, is that there are a lot of cases where there may be lots of smoke, but if there's no fire, we can't prove beyond a reasonable doubt that there's fire. As to the school district termination, I mean, I firmly believe when we see this in a lot of situations, it's like you as an employer can do what you need to do as soon as you have accusations and allegations and accusations involved. They chose to say, well, we're going to wait to see what happens here, and then we're going to go through our appointment process. And I don't know enough about the Edmonds school districts, like the collective bargaining agreement with their teachers, say if this was something that was required to be done or not. I can't speak to the school district's policies, but I can say that it's extremely frustrating when you see someone sitting on paid administrative leave for that period of time when there's enough that causes you, again, it may not be a crime, but is that the person you want to prosecute?
Could you just explain how the office came to that determination that there was not enough evidence?
We will review and all the evidence outlet with the police investigation. We'll talk to victims, we'll talk to witnesses. Based on that information, we will review and make a determination of whether or not we have a sufficient basis to prove beyond a reasonable doubt to enable us to charge a crime. That is our RPC and ethical obligations. We can't file cases that, well, we think maybe something happened. That's not allowed. We have to have a good faith belief beyond a reasonable doubt that the crime has been committed.
Thank you.